Hey there, I have a fun little project for us today. It was inspired, this is not my idea, it was inspired by my friend Kim, and she came on one of our retreats and had made one of these for her daughter who happened to bring it with all her little notions. And what it is a cute little envelope bag, right? Look at that. Now this one's for my sketchbook. So my sketchbook fits in here with a pen, and then I can wrap it up and it stays nice. Because here's my sketchbook. So, pretty easy to make. And it's just a square, so you can do it any size, which is what I love about this, because you can make gifts, you can make it for notions or other things like that. Sketchbooks. All right, so basically you need to have 2 pieces of fabric, one for your outside and one for your lining, and cut a square, whatever size you want. My square to fit my little sketchbook, which is like 5 by 8.5, okay, just for perspective, I cut a 14-inch square. So I have 2 14-inch squares, and I'm going to put them right sides together. And so I'm going to then sew around the whole piece with 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch, doesn't really matter. I mean, if you do a 1/2 inch, it's going to be smaller than you thought, right? Okay, so sew around it, and then you're going to leave an opening on one of your corners. Preferably one of your corners that you're going to sew into the envelope. So here's what my piece, this is my lining, this is my outside, and it's all sewn except for this little hole right here, which is what I use to turn it right side out, okay? So here we go. This is what it looks like, and now I'm gonna show you how you sew it together into the envelope. All right, so I took my square and I folded up each of my corners here, and I pressed it. So then, it all is gonna stay right here. You can see my opening is still in here. So then when I sew this, I'm gonna stitch that opening closed. I have my ribbon for my tie that I'll sew into the top here. I have some sparkly thread because why not? And so this is how we are going to sew this together. Got my thread. Oy. I have a cat that's sitting behind me. I'm sharing the chair with my cat, who is pushing on my feet. I'm going to tie a knot in the bottom of this. And I'm going to come over here. And since I want to hide my knot, I'm going to hide it inside of this. Now you're just going to whip stitch. I take and pull it like this. So it's almost like I'm making a little. And then I'm just going to whip stitch this across the whole thing as close as I want to be. I'm just going to taking this top little bit of the thread of the fabric here. And you're going to go all the way up the top. And you're going to stop, and then you come over here on this side. And I find that it is much easier to start at the bottom and work up than the top and work down, okay? So you're going to continue whip stitching that. I'm not going to make you watch me do this because it'll take a while. And it is best done, watching some Netflix or something like that. But now I am going to show you, once I get that, I'm going to show you how I attach my ribbon. So I find center of my ribbon. And this is a pretty thick ribbon, so that's why I'm attaching it to the outside as opposed to putting it into your seam, which you can also do. You could use like some yarn and you could tuck it in here when you're in this stage of sewing this all together, and you would take your string and you'd put it inside like this, and you'd tuck it and then put the other piece on top of it, and kind of like this. So here's our two, you know, pieces that haven't been sewn together yet. So if I was to be putting a piece of yarn or string or something in, wanting in the seam, then I would, this is big and bulky, so it probably wouldn't work very well with this type of ribbon, but we're just gonna fake it here for a moment because I don't have a piece with me. I would take and put this here and I would pin it. And I would tuck it in and make sure that it is in here so it doesn't get caught in any of your seams. And then I would put this over the top and I would pin it together so that when I'm stitching and I've come up this side, I'd come up this side and go to the corner, turn the corner and go down. And so then your string is actually caught into this part right here of your piece. So hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, for attaching something larger, as I have here, I will, now I think I've just lost my needle. Isn't that, yep, I've lost my needle. Oh, nope, there it is. Ah, okay, haven't lost my needle. Yes, here we go. I'm gonna take a small piece of thread and I'm going to tie a knot on the end. Okay, knot on the end. And I will go up in the middle of one piece of this, right close to the fold there, the halfway, just so I can tuck my knot in there, right? And then I'm gonna place it about here. And I will try and make nice stitches going across. I'm gonna look and make sure that it looks pretty here as much as it looks pretty there. And I'll just go over this a couple times so it's nice and secure. I want to make sure I'm coming through the same spot because then it looks really nice. Yes, this sparkly thread. Okay. There we go. You could even sew bead on here if you wanted to, something like that. That would look really pretty, huh? Bead on there. And then what I'll do when I do this last one, and I'll come up inside here like this. Because the key is always wondering, what the heck do you do with the knot, right? Like, what are you gonna do with this knot? You gotta hide it somehow. So I'm gonna take and tie a knot. So I have this nice knot here. And then I'm going to actually come in between my 2 layers. Make sure my needle's in between my 2 layers. And then pull it out at the seam. Trust me, there's a reason for this. I'm going to pull it kind of tight. I'm going to trim it, and then it disappears. And your knot's in there, and it looks pretty. So there you go. This is a fun little thing, and not too hard to make. All right, hope you have a great day.